Congratulations on your acceptance as a cadet in the LAPD. This video is going to go over all the procedures you are going to need to know to be solo cleared after 10 hours with a field training officer. When you enter the city with your Leo character, or law enforcement officer, you'll find yourself over at the Vespucci Police Department, which resides on the west side of town between San Andreas Avenue and Vespucci Boulevard. To go on duty, you need to click Alt, Law Enforcement, and then pick the division that you're part of. In my case, it's the LAPD, so I click on LAPD. Once you have changed to your LAPD skin, a message will be sent out to everyone else on the server that you have gone on duty. It will also open up a tremendous amount of commands that we'll be going over. First one being the skin command. Now, skins allow you to change between your regular officer skin and many other skins that are available to your division. You can see if I do skin 2, looks like I've got like a special ops kind of skin going on here. The one I normally go to is the sergeant skin, which I also use for, running around as a sergeant or lieutenant in my case. This is the skin that I use. And for instance, if I wanted to go into Air 1, I'd jump into the Air 1 skin. So each one of the special divisions that you'll find within your division have their own associated skins that you use to do that particular function within your division. So that would be the skin command. I'll go back to skin 11, which is my lieutenant skin. The next thing you're going to want to do as being on duty, you're going to want to run on over to this purple or pink circle here, hit E, and it'll bring you into the character creation menu here. Now, you can go ahead and go through each one of these to find out what suits your needs, but you may want to take a look at the SOP for your particular division as well as rank to determine what kind of clothing you should be wearing. Once you're done selecting all of your gear and the way you want to look, you're going to want to save your character, because then that way, every time you get into the city, all you have to do is hit revert to save parts, and you'll look exactly the way you'd hoped you would. Unfortunately, as you saw with my initial characters I came in, doing this also changes your initial character as well, which is why I have that beautiful dunce hat when I get into the server. Once you're looking the way you want to look, go ahead and go on to this blue circle, which is going to give your loadout. In your loadout, you'll see all of the different weapons that you'll be given. You got your carbine rifle, pump shotgun, as well as some tertiary items that you can use, like flares, gas, fire extinguisher, jerry can, a variety of... we have a heavy pistol, as well as a stun gun, and for some reason you have an Uzi and a combat PDW. All the weapons that you have on you that look two-handed, such as this PDW, the SMG, the shotgun, they all need to be emoted as you pulling it out of either a Bearcat or your own vehicle. You can't all of a sudden have an M4 in your hand. You're going to need to pull it from somewhere, and we'll show you that later. The third circle you'll find at most police departments, with the exception of Mission Row, you'll see a green circle that allows you to enter the cell block. This is merely a teleportation device that brings you to Mission Row and allows you to get directly into the cell block below. Now, every time you use this particular teleporter, you're going to have to return through it. So, in essence, you really aren't at Mission Row. You need to pretend that you're still over, for instance, at Vespucci PD. Alright, those are the 3 circles that you need to know to get yourself geared up and go to the cells. There's one last circle that you'll find in each PD, which is this green one over here. And the green one is going to allow you to pull a vehicle. Click E on that, and you'll have an assortment of different vehicles to pull. Please refer to your SOP to understand which vehicles you can pull based on your rank within your division. A tip that I like to give is make sure, when you have the opportunity, to go through every single one of these vehicles so that this menu loads a lot faster. Once you've pulled an appropriate vehicle, go ahead and jump on inside, and the very first 2 commands you're going to want to use are F10 to turn the vehicle on. Then, once you get out of the spot, making more room for other officers that may be pulling vehicles, you want to go ahead and run /radar as well as /compass. Slash compass is pretty self-explanatory. You can see at the very top of the screen now, you can see that what street you're on, as well as the cross street, as well as which direction you're going in. With slash radar, will receive the license plate of vehicles that are either in front of you or behind you. So you can get license plates for vehicles that are in front and behind you. There are 3 commands to change the appearance of your vehicles. The first one I'm going to go over right now is slash paint. In some vehicles, some that look as if they are unmarked, you can actually kind of see some PD markings on top. You can see the 422. If I do a slash paint space 1, you can see that there are the markings underneath the black overlay that you saw originally. So if you pull a vehicle and it just looks like the wrong color, or you can kind of see markings through a solid color, just go ahead and try the paint commands. Like paint 0 brings it back to the way it was. But if you go through each of the numbers, you may be able to, yeah, it looks like there's only 2 for this particular vehicle. So paint 0 and paint 1. Now, another thing you'll be looking at sometimes when you pull a vehicle is that the livery will come out incorrectly as well. So this particular Crown Vic is coming back as airport police. Now, we don't want to be patrolling around as airport police. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the livery to the proper markings. So livery 1 is going to give us what we want. And you can go through all the different liveries as well by just kind of cycling through them. So what I'm doing here as well, so I'm hitting T and then up arrow, and it will go ahead and put in the last command that I put in so that I can easily cycle through these, as you can see that I'm doing now. If you wanted to change the number on your vehicle, you can do that through the liveries, as well as if you pull a vehicle and it comes out either CHP or SD or like the wrong division, go through the liveries and you'll eventually find what you're looking for. The last thing you can do with vehicles is you can add different additions to it. So for instance, this large truck here, it looks like a Ford 350, has a bunch of extras that you can put on. To add and remove extras, you use the slash extra command. So if I do slash extra all on, it will put all the extras you can possibly put onto this vehicle all at once. So you have like a push bar in the front, got a cab on the back, got a light bar on top, and if you do the opposite, which is extra all off, you'll remove all those extras. Now, to put them in individually or remove them individually, let's go ahead and put them all on again. And this is what I like to do with this truck when I'm driving around in it. Thanks to Mr. Lucas for giving me the exact numbers to remove. Going to remove extra 7, which removes the cab. But as you can still see the radar boxes as well as some of the side lights there. So we're going to do extra 8 and then extra 11. So you can add and remove by just doing extra and then the number. Just like that. That's how you change the appearance for all the vehicles that you'll be pulling from the motor pool. Now I'm going to run through a bunch of commands that you'll be using as a Leo. The first one will be slash delete vehicle, slash DELVEH. This one is going to go ahead and remove the vehicle that you are currently occupying. Unfortunately, this only works unless you are inside the vehicle. So there's some cases where you're not going to be able to remove the vehicle. You're just going to have to wait for an admin or wait for the vehicle to despawn. Now, just to give you some clues on the current rules that are currently in place, you do not want to use this command on a player vehicle. The best thing you're going to want to do for a player vehicle is pull it off to the side of the road and go ahead and mark it for tow, which you do by going into the Alt menu, go to Vehicles, and then mark Vehicle for tow. Do not delete player vehicles, given the fact that they have no way of getting it back at this moment in time. That may change or may change back and forth, but depending on the availability of the licensing and insurance features that are being put into the server. Next command we're going to go over is running a plate. As you can see, I've run this person's plate in front of me. He's driving a black Dukes. So I can do it in 2 ways. Now, unfortunately, one of the ways you can only do it when another player is involved. But you can always run a plate by doing slash run plate and then typing the guy's plate into there manually. Now, this is going to come back as a suspicious vehicle because of the fact that all local vehicles are going to come back as suspicious. Now, just keep this in mind, though. Like, it's very obvious when the plate is owned by a local or by a player. You cannot use this against other players just because you've noticed another player is driving a local's vehicle. What you need is you need to have probable cause. So if this Dukes just drove right through the stop sign, then you know, okay, this guy might be a player and he's doing something that is illegal. So it gives me the probable cause needed to go ahead and pull him over. Don't be driving around with your U up so you can see IDs just because you want to start catching people that are, stealing vehicles. You want to have probable cause beforehand, or you will be failing RP as a police officer. So be very aware of that and try just to be as realistic as possible. Okay, so the next way to run a plate is by going into law enforcement and then clicking on run vehicle plate. Now, this only works if there is a player in a vehicle in front of you, which can be a little bit annoying when you're trying to figure out another bug that is associated with the /run plate command, and that is when you're trying to run a company vehicle or a job vehicle or a rented vehicle. You need to have a player inside of it to go ahead and run the plate. As you can see, when I ran it earlier, it didn't do anything at all. So if I go law enforcement and then run vehicle plate, nothing comes up on my listing here. So if you're going to be checking someone that's using a job vehicle, that includes like the road work vehicle, the light work vehicle, the FedEx van, the Amazon van, all those different vehicles that people pull to do the jobs that they need to do, you want to use the run plate command, because then that way you'll have a better representation of who owns that particular vehicle. The straight up /run plate command comes back as a false positive or a false negative, sorry, and you'll think that he's suspicious, he's driving a stolen vehicle, but he really isn't. So, confusing times, I know, but it will eventually be fixed as Matt fixes most of these little bugs that we encounter in the city. So that's the run plate command. The next command that you're going to want to know of is the PD panic. PD panic, if you just type it straight up, will go ahead and put a panic for all the other police officers to find on the map. That is basically your button for when you're either downed or you feel that you are going to be downed at any moment. So if you're being surrounded by a lot of other players that are looking very dangerous and very violent, you may want to use this button if you feel that your life is in danger. You turn it off, you do PD panic space off to remove it. There are two more commands I'm going to go over before we move on to calls and callouts and whatnot. The first one is going to be the /me command. Now, the /me command allows you to, waves at the camera. It allows you to basically type out actions. So Richard Riley waves at the camera. In this sense, whenever you're going to be pulling out a weapon that's larger than a pistol, whether it be a shotgun or carbine rifle, you're going to want to be near either a Bearcat through an ERT situation or your vehicle to go ahead and pull out a shotgun or an M4. So what you need to do is just type in /me, grabs N4, unracks M4, whatever you want to type in before you can go ahead and arm yourself with that larger weapon. So always use /me to dictate the action that you're going to take place, which is pulling a larger weapon out of your vehicle, and then you can go ahead and use this. Merely pulling this weapon out of your asshole when you're just running about is fail RP. And also keep in mind that if you're in a situation that's not like a big situation like a bank robbery or anything like that, pulling an M4 against folks that have only pistols seems a little fail as well. So only use these during robberies or in a situation where automatic weapons are in use. The second command, or the last command I'm going to show you, is going to be /clear. Now, /clear is very important for when you're in an intersection that has a ton of NPCs in it, whether they got backed up or maybe they're in, there's a couple intersections that have some problems, especially one in front of Spawn, as well as the one right next to PD. These intersections tend to have buses falling out of the sky, jamming up together, exploding everywhere. If you run up to an NPC and you do /clear, all the NPC vehicles as well as NPCs themselves will disappear a big radius around you. So I basically cleared out this whole intersection worth of NPCs. Here, I'll show you one more time on these folks outside of the bank. Goodbye, ladies. Bye-bye. Make sure that when you're using this command, not to use it in front of other players, because it's pretty, it kind of breaks immersion for folks that if like NPC starts disappearing left and right. So be sure that if you're going to clear an intersection or you're going to be, you know, clearing vehicles out of the way, make sure there's no other players around. Now there are many more commands that you can run as a Leo, but for the time being, we'll just give you the basics. You can always refer back to the Leo's Guide to Success to go ahead and see all the different commands that you can run as a Leo. Now the next thing we're going to go over are the different codes. Now there are 4 primary codes that we use. Obviously there are more, but we just go ahead and teach the primary 4 just so that everyone's on the same page for at least those 4 of them. So the first one, code 1, is going to be you driving around town following all traffic rules. So if I run over to a light over here, oh, this is the only time in this city that I've gotten to a green light. There we go. You're going to be wanting to go the speed limit, and you're going to want to stop at every single red light and stop at every stop sign. If you are seen driving, 150 miles an hour going through red lights without any lights or without any sirens on, you can be brought in and charged. And if you do get a felony on your police character, then you're looking at being removed from the police force. So be very careful about driving like a maniac if you don't have any lights on. That doesn't mean that if you have lights and sirens on, you can drive like a maniac. It just means that you really need to be able to follow traffic rules if you're code 1. Now, code 2, if you are using a keyboard, you hit Q. If you're using a controller, you hit left directional pad, and it will turn the lights on your vehicle. In code 2, you can drive faster. It does, like I said, doesn't mean 200 miles an hour in town, but you can drive over the speed limit, and whenever you break a traffic rule, you need to either use your siren, your temporary siren, which is B on the controller and R on the keyboard, as you go through a traffic light or a stop sign. So every time you go through an intersection, you want to go ahead and blip or bloop with the horn. So I think that's down on the left stick on the controller, and I'm not exactly sure what it is on the keyboard because I primarily use the controller when I'm driving about. But if you use the horn or the siren as you break traffic rules, then you're still within the SOP's regulations. Now, code 3 is if you hit down directional pad on the controller or comma on the keyboard, you'll turn the siren on your vehicle. This will allow you to drive at exorbitant speeds as well as go through traffic lights and traffic stops without having to blip or bloop through them. You can just drive as you would if you're trying to get to a location as quickly as possible. So that is code 3. Let's go ahead and turn all this off, and then we'll talk about the most important code, in my opinion, and that is code 4. Now, every time you're done with the specific scenario, whether it be a traffic stop, a felony stop, really anything where you have called out. So if you've gone, this is 320, I'm pulling over a vehicle here at Los Lagunas Boulevard, no additionals needed. Even if I call out and I change my status from 10-8, which is patrolling, you need to at least call code 4 when you realize that the situation is safe. So if you've pulled someone over and you say no additionals needed, that's basically saying code 4. So that's what code 4 means. No additionals needed, no help needed at my location. So if you're at a bank robbery, you're going to want to call code 4 as soon as everyone is detained and all the officers as well as the locals are safe in that area. Because the worst thing that could possibly happen is someone calls out and the rest of dispatch is going, oh God, what's going on with 320? And they start rushing to your area, and when they get there, you're like, hey, everything's fine. What are you talking about? If you don't call code 4, you're going to piss some people off for sure. So here are all 4 codes. Code 1 is driving like a normal person. Code 2 is driving fast with lights, as well as blippity bloops through intersections and traffic stops. Code 3 is having the sirens and lights on, driving extremely quickly to your destination. And code 4 is calling it clear. Your basic callouts are callouts that you will use that will describe your status in the city rather than the status of a particular scenario. So your basic callouts are, there's two sets of them. So you have 1041, 1042 is on duty, off duty, and then 10.8 and 10.7 is available and not available. So as you get into the city, the first thing you're going to want to say is, this is 320, or your call sign, this is 320, I am now going 1041. That's telling everyone that you're now on duty. And if you add now 10.8 citywide, you're saying that you are on patrol citywide. So if you do another call out, like for instance, if I look at how much money I've got in my pocket, I've got 11,000. That seems like a lot. I should bank that before I get robbed or, you know, kidnapped or whatever. I want to go ahead and call out, this is 320 going 10.7 for banking. You got to keep your callouts nice and short and sweet when it comes to these basic callouts. If there is a scenario going on, you can easily use /R to go ahead and call out, you know, this is 320 going 10.7 for banking. So if there's a scenario going on, these basic callouts are good for people to know who's available, who's not available, but they should not trump an active situation anyway. So if you run into a situation where you don't want to, you don't want to break into an active situation, you just go and hit /R and then go ahead and put your call sign, your status, and then maybe a little bit of information. Or you can just go 320 10.7. That works out just fine as well. So those are your basic commands, basic callouts, allowing you to go on duty and off duty, and then available or not available. There are 6 sections that you need to show aptitude in before being solo cleared as a regular officer in the LAPD. It is processing, charging, traffic stop, felony stop, pursuits, and robberies. This video is going to go over an example of each one of those, going over each step that we are going to be testing against to make sure that you know before passing you to become a regular officer. All right, sir, please put your hands up. Turn around. Turn around. Thank you very much. And go ahead and walk towards me, or back towards me. Come back to the sound of my voice. There you go. Stop. All right, put your hands down, please. All right. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, it won't be provided for you if there's one available in town. Do you understand these rights I just read to you?
Yep.
All right, sir, you have multiple warrants on your person. We're going to be arresting you for attempted murder of an LEO, armed robbery, as well as felony evasion. Do you understand these charges I just told you?
I don't understand the robbery.
Okay, well, we'll explain it to you once you get back into PD, okay? Can you tell me where your ID's at on your person, please?
It's in my left pocket. Careful, don't poke yourself. There might be a needle.
Okay, I checked your left pocket, and I've got your ID. What am I looking at? All right, Robert Hallowell. All right, sir. So I'm also going to be searching you today. Do you have anything in your pockets gonna hurt me in any way?
Yeah, I have some drugs. Not drugs. No, I said too much. There's some needles.
Okay, I'll look out for those needles.
I got diabetes.
All right, see those needles? Well, some logs. Doesn't look like you have anything else illegal on you. Okay, taking note of what you had on you. You didn't have anything illegal on you. So let's go ahead and remove all those weapons and contraband that you have on you. All right. Okay, let's get you into the car. Watch your head as I put you into the back of the vehicle.
Okay. Be gentle. I'm sensitive.
This is 320 to dispatch. I'm going to be en route to PD with 1 in custody.
10-4.
All right, sir, here we go. All right, lady, here we go.
This is injustice.
Got to do a little dance at the door to make sure that you can see inside. Can you see inside just fine?
I can see perfect. I'm not that old yet.
All right,
Sir.
just checking, because sometimes there's some weird stuff that goes on with the Matrix when we go through the door improperly. You know how hard
I
it is
don't
to walk straight
appreciate
through a
you
door.
Insulting my age.
Well, I'm sorry, lady. You're just going to have to deal with it. All right, so because you're already processed and I know all your weapons have been already removed from you, I'm just going to go ahead and release you here. And I'm going to be uncuffing you. I'd like you to put your hands up as soon as you're uncuffed and just keep looking at that side wall there, all right?
Ugh. But, officer, do you see this wall? It's covered in unmentionable things.
Unmentionable
Man.
things? What kind of unmentionable things? You can go ahead and put your
Semen.
hands down.
It's semen.
It's semen. Is that why it's so white?
I mean, these walls used to be brown. Probably black before that.
Okay, ma'am, so I'm arresting you today for attempted murder of an LEO ×2, as well as speeding 100 miles an hour over the speed limit. Add a little felony evasion in there as well.
I don't even know how to drive. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's pretty apparent by the way you were driving. Let me just go ahead and check your warrants real
Yeah.
quick, and let me see what you got.
It's just rude, officer. I'll have you know, I am the best
Oh, my.
at stuff.
Oh, geez, you know what? You do have a warrant on you for an additional 5
I
attempted murders of a
do not.
LEO. So,
No,
unfortunately, we're
that's
going to be
not
giving you
true.
attempted murder of an LEO ×7. Isn't that going to be nice?
That's okay. That was like 6 months ago, and I didn't shoot those officers with a shotgun. That was not me. That was
So what did you shoot them with?
my charm.
Oh, oh my. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and put your charges in. Just give me a moment. I'll be a second while I get your numbers and your fines and times and all that good stuff.
Officer, I don't think it's appropriate for me to give you my number. I mean, if you really want.
All right, so I checked her number earlier. Her number is 47. And I'm going to be giving her not only the speeding 100 over the limit, felony evasion. Then I'm going to type in attempted murder in LEO ×7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I can go ahead and just do ×7 like this. And then erase the rest. Because the text at the top doesn't really matter too much. And then warrant served. All right. So I'm going to copy all this here. Copy the 55,000 as well as the 205 into a notepad here.
Absurd.
All right, ma'am.
Stuck in
So
that
your
semen
total
covered
times and
prison
fines, your times and fines comes back to be $55,000 worth of fines and 205 months in jail. Given that you've been so
Jesus
amiable
Christ.
and such a joy to be with, I'm going to go ahead and reduce your times down to 100 months. How does that sound?
100 months. Do you know how old I'll be in 100 months?
Yeah, you know, we age like, what, 60 years every day? It seems like that, doesn't it?
It is insane.
It is insane.
What if I gave you $12.62?
That's not even enough to get a hamburger around town. Have you seen how much like a vodka costs? It's like $600.
For vodka?
Like beer's like a couple $100.
I have, okay, $12.50 and my extra pair of pants.
I've got plenty of pants, lady. I'm sorry. Do you have any questions before I send you off to jail?
I will dye your hair.
I have no hair.
I'll take you to the candy shop.
I'm good. I'm sweet enough. All right, off you go.
I cannot believe this.
All right, and 100 months.
This is ridiculous.
Fake
This is absolutely
charges.
insane.
All right, you're in jail
I
now.
wanna live my life.
You're in jail now. All right, let's go ahead and check those warrants. Make sure I removed her warrant properly.
I am in jail. I am in jail.
Looks like I didn't, so I'm going to go ahead and close it off, and we're good to go. This is 320 to dispatch. I'm currently in pursuit of a black sports classic vehicle going eastbound on runway 1. Gonna go ahead and pull him over.
10-4.
All right, looks like he's pulling over here eastbound on runway 1. No additionals needed this time.
10-4.
Sir, can you please turn your vehicle off for me? Thank you very much. Give me 1 second. Okie doke. Hello, sir. This is Lieutenant Richard Riley of the LAPD. Do you know why I'm stopping you today, sir?
No.
Well, you're kind of waggling like crazy on the road, kind of driving a little recklessly. Do you mind if I get your ID as well as your registration, please?
I suppose. Let me look you over here in my glove box.
Okay, just take your time. Robert Hollowell. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and write you a ticket for reckless driving, okay? Blip! Alright, sir, here's your ticket. Please go ahead and sign right here at the bottom, the dotted line.
Alright.
Okay, this pink copy is yours, and here's your ID as well as your registration bag. You have a safe day. Give me a second to get in my car, and then you can go ahead and be on your way, alright? Be safe out there, okay?
Alright, thank you, sir. Yup.
This is 320. Currently pursuit of a black sports classic vehicle going southwestbound on runway 1. Going to go ahead and try to pull him over.
10-4.
Alright, looks like he's pulling over to the side here, eastbound runway 1. Looks like he's cooperating. No need for additionals at this time.
10-4.
Hey, sir, do you mind turning your vehicle off for me, please?
Yeah, I mind.
Come on, turn it off. Thank you very much. Give me 1 second. Just going to run your plate. Okay, sir, give me 1 second. I'll be right with you. This is 320 to dispatch. I'm going to need additionals here at eastbound on runway 1. We got a felony stop.
10-4, 241 en route. Go 3.
Okay, sir, I'd like to ask you to get out of your vehicle. Your hands up, please. All right, go ahead and look through your eyes and then walk back towards me. Look through your eyes and look back. Okay, there we go. Turn around. Thank you. I'm going to be cuffing you. All right, go ahead and put your hands down. All right. This is 320, currently trying to catch up to a two-door, like, looks like a sports classic vehicle. Going to be lighting them up.
10-4.
All right, doesn't look like he's pulling over, so we're going to call a 1080 on this one. We're still, taking a right on runway 1 going northbound. All additionals, please respond.
10-4, 241 en route. Go 3. 241 joined in pursuit, taking secondary.
10-4. 320 is still on primary. Taking a little bit of a right. Still going north or eastbound on runway 1. Taking another right. It's going underneath the airport over here.
10-4.
I'm going to wait for him to get into a more clear area to request a pit. All right, everything's looking clear. Do I have permission to pit, please?
10-4, go ahead.
Going for the pit on the turn. All right, I got it right here. Sir, get out of your car, please. Keep your hands up. Turn around. Look through your eyes and walk back towards me. All right, stop. Stop. There you go. All right, put your hands down. Dispatch, we're code 4 here at runway 1. Break, break, break. This is 320. We've got an alarm at the 24/7 and Little Soul. I'll respond if you're en route, code 3. 320 responding.
10-4, 241 responding, code 3.
We got an active alarm here. Making contact.
241 arriving on scene.
This is Richard Riley of the LAPD. Please respond if you're inside. Make yourself known.
I'm here.
All right, buddy. You cannot take the money from this establishment. It's not yours. It belongs to the people that own the establishment.
It's mine now. It's in my hands.
All right, man. You're forcing us to have to come in with deadly force. Is that what you want?
No.
Well, if you don't come out with your hands up, that's what's going to have to happen. All right, stack up on me.
No.
3,
Please.
2, 1. Go, go.
Coming in.
Left is clear. Counter's clear.
Clear.
No,
Hey, put your hands up. Hands up. Turn around. Turn around.
Don't shoot.
Turn around.
Got your back.
All right, put your hands down. What the hell are you doing in here? All right, let's go ahead and clear the rest of the convenience mart. Looks like the back is clear. Was the left-hand side clear?
It's clear here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's clear.
All right. No one's hurt, so I don't have to call out for medical treatment. All right, let me just call out real quick. This is 320. We're code 4 over here at the Little Soul 24/7.
10-4.
I needed the money.
Well, folks, I hope you learned something from this video. Please don't be afraid to contact any of your FTOs if you have any questions at all about any of the things that you've watched in this video or any situations you might have run into. You're obviously not going to run into situations that go this cleanly, given the fact that this was all pretty much staged, and we had some great folks that helped us out. Huge shout out to Grizz, Fine Points, as well as MPF 200. Love you guys. Thank you so much for helping me out with the video, and hope if you have any questions at all, you can contact me directly as well. I'm Johnny O'Knows on Discord, Richard Riley on the Black Horizons Discord. You all have a good one, and stay safe out there.